Hello and welcome to the Vision Cast. My name is Joel Penton and I'm the founder and CEO of LifeWise Academy. So glad you are with us. Like other Vision Casts, we will be covering a little bit of the LifeWise big picture and spend a little bit of time sharing some LifeWise stories. So first, the big picture idea for the episode is a set of things, and that is the set of LifeWise core values. We have two core values, and those are the two C's of LifeWise: commitment and competence. And I thought maybe I could just share with you kind of the story, how these things came to be our core values. I remember when our organization, our nonprofit, was starting to grow, and we were hiring people, and we were experiencing some growing pains. And I was meeting with a friend of mine who runs a large set of companies, and I was sharing some of the struggles with hiring and growth. And he said, "Well, have you written down your core values for everyone to know what they are?" And I remember responding negatively to him, saying, "Oh, I don't want to write down core values, just picking words out of thin air and putting them on the wall. That just seems kind of gimmicky." And he said to me very quickly and very clearly, he said, "Well, you know that every decision you make is already based on a set of core values. You have just failed to write them down and communicate them to all of your people." And I was like, whoa. Yeah, you just nailed me. And so then with some reflection, we were able to identify some core values that we did already have. In fact, we had kind of already articulated them. And so now let me back up the story even further to when I first got into full-time ministry after graduating from Ohio State. I actually joined staff with a large national organization ministry. And to be honest with you, it was a wonderful experience, but I started to notice a bit of a trend. While there are many really wonderful people I worked with, I began to see that some people in the ministry world had just incredible hearts, incredible motivations, incredible levels of sacrifice. And so I kind of encapsulate all this in the word commitment. You know, their hearts were in the right place, but sometimes lacked a certain level of whether it was skill or attention to detail or technical know-how. Something that, you know, the word we used was competence. So we saw this, again, not everybody, but almost a trend in the nonprofit world or the ministry world. And then as I would interact with my friends who went into the business world, saw kind of the opposite side of things. Again, not everybody, but people with incredible skill, incredible talent, incredible know-how, but then not always doing things maybe for the right motivations or not always having the heart in the right place. And saw these trends in two areas. You know, one group that had great commitment, the heart, but maybe lacked some of the competence, the issues of the head and hands. And then another group that had, you know, incredible competence, but then maybe lacking some commitment. So we started saying very early on, why do these things seem to be mutually exclusive? Like, can we hold these things together? They're not opposite ends of the same spectrum. They're on two different spectrums altogether. So as we grow as an organization, can we seek to really have both? That we have the heart's in the right place, that we're fully committed, that we're doing things for the right reasons, and at the same time that we have the highest level of excellence, the highest level of competence. And so from day one, that's what we've been saying, that we want to be people who are both committed and competent, doing things for the right reasons and doing things with a high level of excellence. We define that further, 4 subsets of qualities underneath each of those, and maybe we'll cover those in a future Vision Cast. But for now, that is our big picture idea, core values of commitment and competence, and now it's time for a LifeWise story. I'm very excited to be joined by one of our LifeWise teachers, Lindsay Kauffman, who is not too far down the road from where I live. She's in the Jonathan Alder School District. Lindsay, thank you for joining us for the Vision Cast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Lindsay, how about real quick, just maybe introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I grew up here, Plain City, Ohio, in Jonathan Alder District. So I've lived here almost my entire life. I've got 4 kids of my own who are attend Jonathan Alder. And so this is kind of where we do life. And my husband, Lyndon, is a firefighter locally. And yeah.
Well, that's excellent. Well, Lindsay, I tell you what, I'm a little bit jealous of you because I live just down the road and you have Der Dutchman in Plain City where you live. And my kids and I will ride our bikes there. And the last time we rode our bikes there to get one of those giant donuts, it's as big as your head,
Mm, yes.
they were closed. And so we had ridden our bikes the entire way there and then the doors were locked. And so anyway, so
Yeah.
Lindsay, thank you for being a teacher. And we're so excited about what's happening at LifeWise Jonathan Alder. Maybe share your LifeWise story in terms of how you got connected.
Yeah, so I was a stay-at-home mom at the time when LifeWise was just getting started here in Jonathan Alder, and but I'd had previous teaching experience, and so somebody from the steering committee reached out to me and asked if I'd like to be involved in some way, and it was I had never heard of LifeWise. As soon as we met for coffee, she told me about the program, and I was all in. I said absolutely, whatever it takes, I want to be involved, and that's history.
Well, thank you for saying yes, for showing
Mhm.
up. We know it's a sacrifice. Nobody does anything with LifeWise without making major sacrifices, and so
Yeah,
thank you for that.
every
And so
bit.
you're on the front lines. That's why I just respect our teachers so much and appreciate our teachers so much. You're the one doing it each and every day.
Mhm.
What's just some of the general impact that you see as you get to interact with these kids each and every day?
Well, this is we're wrapping up my second year of teaching for LifeWise, and so it's been really fun to see the growth. We are over 300 students this
Wow.
year, which is just amazing. We're not a huge district, and so seeing the growth, but really also seeing the excitement really among the ones that are coming. As we're finishing up the year, I've had to say goodbye to some of my students this week, and there's tears and there's what are we going to do all summer without LifeWise, and having done our review lesson, it amazes me. They're just sponges. They soak it up, and they're all telling me they're going to read their Bibles this summer, and it's amazing to see the way that they are. It's really transforming children.
Oh, it's so exciting. And I've gotten to sit in on some of the review lessons our different communities do. And yeah, to see what kids know is just mind blowing. I
Yeah,
mean, so much more than I knew
it really is.
about scripture when I was their age. And you had
Mhm.
recently, or we had heard, whether it was from you or through you, a couple specific stories. Maybe share with us a couple specific stories of impact.
Yeah, so I love recording the stories and the things that come from the kids because that's what it is, right? And the feedback from them. So we were having our lesson about the Ten Commandments, and we were talking about how there's only one God, and we should love God more than anything else in the world. And this one little first grader, her eyes got really big, and this was completely sincere. She was not trying to be funny. And she said, "Oh, I do. I love him more than," she paused for a minute. "I love him more than rocks." I have no idea if she has a prize rock collection or something. I'm not sure, but she loves God more than rocks.
How
So
about that?
that's good
She
to know.
must be friends with my son who collects rocks. That would be a big thing for him to say as well. That's funny though.
Yeah. Another story I had recently when we were learning our Easter lesson. So the students came into class, and I told them, we're going to be learning our Easter lesson. We're going to be reading the Easter story out of the Bible. And so we got the Bibles out. We read through our Easter story. And then one little girl looked very confused and goes, "Mrs. Kauffman, I don't see anything about the Easter eggs or the Easter baskets." And so we got to talk then and have a really good conversation with the entire class about
Right.
how much fun those things are. And those are really fun ways to celebrate. But that Easter's actually the reason we celebrate is because of Jesus. And so many of these students had no idea. That was a
Wow.
brand new concept. So it was a really great lesson
Yeah,
conversation.
that is great. And that is something it has almost surprised me how often we hear that, right? Of Easter and
Yeah,
Christmas in particular, the number of kids that had no idea that these
no
were
clue.
Christian things and that you get to share that with them. How special. Well, I couldn't be more
Yes.
grateful for you and your willingness to be that person that gets, it's almost like a rediscovering, rediscover
Yeah.
the center of these things, which is Jesus. Well, thank you for doing what you're
I
doing.
love
It
it.
sounds like you've wrapped up the year, and you get a
Mhm.
much deserved break over the summer. Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah. I'm going to miss it, but I love it. I love every day of it.
Oh, well, I love it too. Although I kind of could take a couple months over the summer. That'd be nice. No,
I'm not going to lie. The break will be nice.
good for you. You deserve it. You deserve it. Well, thank you, Lindsay, for everything you're doing. Thank you, everybody, for watching the LifeWise Vision Cast, and we'll see you next time.